Hey, everybody, welcome into another episode of The Last of Us, our review and discussion of episode 2. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley. Burley, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, expat?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yes, enjoyed episode 2. It was really enjoyable. And I just want to let everybody know before we get into it all, this obviously will be a spoiler filled episode. We're going to be talking spoilers throughout uh, this video here when it comes to episode 2 of The Last of Us. So if you have not watched episode 2 yet, please go and watch it first. And then, of course, come back and enjoy our video, obviously. But yeah, there's going to be spoilers. So that's your spoiler warning. So let's jump right in, Burley. So let's get to the very beginning of the episode, and of course, in Indonesia, yes, the scientist here. Yes, I would like to be with my family. It's interesting how they jump right in again. I thought it was going to go right to Tess and Joel and Ellie walking through Boston, but no. Like the first almost like 10 minutes is like going back to the origin of the cordyceps infection. And what's interesting about this is obviously she looks through the microscope and she looks at it and she says cordyceps cannot survive in humans. But obviously then she goes into the room and it looks like the woman that was laying on the table there, she from the granary factory or something, like the grain factory,
Yeah.
where the infection, I guess, initially started. She was most likely probably the first one. And then she's got the biohazard suit on and everything, and then she pulls the fungus out of her mouth and all, and then she goes back to the to the military guy there that brought her there, and she's like, bomb the city. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
bomb it, bomb everything, man. Get it done. It's because that's the only thing to stop this. You know, because what 14 people
There were
were missing
14
from
missing.
the factory. So like 30 hours later, which the military guy said, that there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people already infected and running around now. So that's why she's like, bomb this city with everybody in it. And that's led up to this in the image here. I would like to be with my family, because she knew it was over. Your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I love this. This shocked me. I thought it just this. We're gonna go because you expected, like you said, Joel, Tess, and Ellie. No, like I paused while I was watching this, and I'm like, oh, this still is The Last of Us. Okay.
Yeah.
And then like when they get they first pull her out of the restaurant, and she's like, "Am I in trouble? Like, am I charged with something?" No,
Right.
no, 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 no. And then they show her the thing, and just like her when she's in this room giving the conversation, you can just see her hands are shaking the cup of tea she has.
Yeah.
And then because she realizes the world is over
Yeah.
at this point. And she's like, when they tell her, especially when they tell her 14 are missing, and it's like, just to have to make that decision because it's all on her. So they
Yeah.
all put it to her, like, because when she goes to go to the lab and look at the thing, the one other scientist wants to tell her something. This says, no, 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 she can figure it out on her own.
Yeah.
And then she was like, just to have to say, bomb the city, kill everyone to have a chance.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as we know, it doesn't work,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and we see that later in the episode, because as Joel and Tess and Ellie are walking through the streets of Boston, there you see the bomb craters, and
Mm-hmm.
Tess even mentions, I think, that they had to bomb the cities to stop, or actually slow down the spread of the infection. Yeah. So yeah, that was really interesting. So let's go ahead and move on. So, of course, we get to Joel and Tess and Ellie, and they're sitting in this area here. And what's interesting is Joel still thinks that Ellie's gonna turn. I mean, it's like he's sitting there, he's got the machine gun, he's just waiting. It's like he has, even though they saw the arm of Ellie and that she cannot, she's immune to the infection and all, he still won't believe it, and he still thinks she's going to turn at some point. Your thoughts on that? What'd you think?
I like this scene a lot because it just shows you because like Joel is so ardent from everything he's dealt with over in this,
Yeah,
and he wants to outright shoot her, and then
yeah,
she's like Tess is the one talking with Ellie, and Ellie's like, yeah, well, they checked on me for a while and made me do all this,
right.
and Joel, you could just hear he was like, let's just go back here, dump them on them, and then she's their problem.
Yeah,
I love that. And Tess is like, well, we want our battery. Well, you know what? It's not worth the damn thing.
right,
Not worth
right,
it.
right. Not worth it. Not worth it. Yeah. So we see them going through the city and all, and you see just how everything is. I mean, the the plant life and everything. Everything's grown over all the cars and the streets and everything, and around the buildings and everything. You see one of the buildings that had fallen on to one of the other adjacent buildings and all. So all of the catastrophe that had taken place 20 years before. But yeah, it was interesting how they're walking through the streets there. And there's one thing that I did not like about this episode, which was interesting in a sense because we really didn't get this aspect of the cordyceps fungus in the game, if I recall. Now, remember Burley in the episode, they're looking from like Ellie and Joel are looking from the bottom down, and you see just swarms of the infected down there.
Yeah.
And they're like just crawling around on top of each other or whatever. And then Tess is mentioning that the fungus is like communicates with itself, and so it's kind of like it's like a beacon or something that sets off, and then they start running, kind of like zombies in World War Z. You know, uh, I just a smart fungus now. I mean, I don't know. What did you think of that part? I mean, and that's something that I don't think they really addressed in the video game. When it came to the cordyceps fungus.
From my playthrough that I did a little while ago, I believe you're right. I don't remember them ever mentioning it. They
Yeah,
could have mentioned it and it's just been one of those like throwaway lines because the thing is you do have like those optional conversations in the game and stuff that you easily can miss.
yeah,
It could have been one of those things or just a quick line as you're passing through and I'm kind of more just focusing on healing or reloading my weapons at the time.
right.
But one thing I gotta say with this episode is I think they really got like they did a really good job with Tess in the first episode.
Yeah,
But this episode, they got Tess 100% down
yeah.
right to the character as she is in the game.
Oh yeah, and of course Neil Druckmann was directing the episode too. So obviously, yeah, spot on with that. So
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, so we get into obviously the museum and all, and clickers, Burley. We get the
Yeah.
clickers, and we get the exact same sounds. We get those exact same sounds from the video game. It's like they probably took the audio exactly from the video game and just threw it into the show.
Grab
I
the
mean,
audio file quick and
yeah, yeah, but yeah, and obviously, spot on. I mean, and just the way they were, and obviously, you don't see Tess get attacked. I mean, she's off screen because you're seeing Joel get attacked, and boy, oh
Mhm.
boy, yeah, it's pretty spot on. I mean, like in the video game, it takes about 5 or 6 rounds of ammunition to put one of those things down. And
Oh yeah.
like and with Joel, I mean, yeah, he had to put like about 5 or 6 rounds into the body and into the head to take one of those things down. And then of course, Ellie, she gets scratched again, you know, and then Joel still is like,
He just wants to put the bullet in her so bad because
he's thinking, yeah, she's gonna turn in like a couple of hours or something like that. But yeah, I mean the clickers, man. I mean, yeah, just spot on, and I mean the makeup and the hours that these actors and are putting into sitting there and getting all this preparation. It's amazing, I bet. And the hours that they have to to prepare to do these scenes. But yeah, I mean, it was spot on, just like the video game, right?
oh yeah, no, they ripped this right out of the video game. the clickers design and how they work.
Yep.
And like I said, for pretty much this was a lot. They took a lot from the game. Like they took stuff in different areas, like when they
Yeah.
go into this the hotel,
Yeah.
because they actually took one of the scenes that I really like from the hotel is Ellie goes up to the little thing and hits the bell and stuff, and
Right.
has the
Right.
interaction.
Right.
It's not the exact same lines, but it's pretty much one
Yeah.
to one. I really love that they're doing those little details within the show,
Right. Right.
and yeah, they did the clickers so well, and I
Yeah.
love the stuff of like Pedro just going. Shh.
Yes. Yes.
They can't
Right.
see,
Yeah.
but they can hear.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And of course, then, we get closer, to where they're supposed to go to try to rendezvous. And obviously they see, the truck that's out there, and then they go inside. And then of course, everybody is like, had been, blown away, basically been shot.
Yeah.
And then of course, obviously we get, the situation with Tess, that she had been infected, and then she shows the infection on her neck, just like in the video game, basically. And then obviously one of the the persons that was shot was still alive, and so Joel shoots him, but then that's where it triggers the fungus,
No.
and that basically alerts all of the other infected out there, kind of like World War Z style, and then they start running towards the building, and then obviously we get to the end here, and Tess is already infected, but she pours the gasoline there. She's going to stall for time as Joel and Ellie get away, and then the World War Z style, infected start running through the building, but then this one just stops and doesn't attack Tess because obviously, she's infected already.
And
But what's interesting is this was all over the internet too. There's a lot of people that didn't like this scene, the fungal, I'll call it the fungal kiss of death. Where of course the fungus transfers into her mouth from the other there. A lot of people kind of cringed at that, they're like, but
yeah.
it is what it is, and then of course, she's trying to get the lighter going, getting the lighter going, and then obviously once the fungus is in her mouth and everything, finally the thing lights up, and then she's able to drop it as she's convulsing, and then of course everything blows up. So what were your thoughts on these final moments?
I love these, and one thing is like I love the thing of, because when they meet the fireflies and Tess has that reaction and all that, and Ellie immediately picks up she's infected.
Yeah.
And Joel, you could just see he gets the gun up on her, and he's like, "How?" Like,
well, he said, "Show me." He wanted to see.
Me.
Yeah,
he wanted to see. Yeah. And it just shows you like this is someone he does care about.
Yeah,
like
right.
He cares about Tess and all that. And then realizing he's like, oh fuck, and then she's pleading with him, you got to get her farther. Joel just wants to go home at this point because he's like, okay, this trip has cost too much. I've been through hell enough.
Right.
This girl ain't worth it, in his opinion. He can get a battery another way. It'll take him longer, but he'd rather spend the time in the safety of the military zone that he was in compared to out here. But she finally is able to convince them. I love that. And then the whole thing, the fungal thing, it was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a change of pace because in the original game, what has happened here is when they do this section is she sacrificed herself to the military.
Exactly.
The military.
Right.
Yeah. So they changed it up. So this is something I do like. They're keeping faith with keeping the story, but changing stuff here or there just so that way for people like us that have beaten the game, the whole story. You're like, oh shit, this happens in this version.
Yeah, and as I said in the last episode about the spores, they're changing that up as well. So you're not going to be seeing them like wearing gas masks. I mean, it's the spore type of an infection type of aspect of the game is not going to be in the TV series. So yeah, that's interesting. And so I think with this kind of smart fungus, I guess I'll call it smart fungus. It's smart cordyceps. Yeah, I think they're going in that direction with this, but anyway, so overall assessment, Burley, I give this one like a 9 out of 10. I mean, it was excellent. I mean, just looking at Boston and the way things look, just like in the video game, and then Tess, amazing in this episode. Obviously, the last episode she's in, but yeah, I mean, overall, and Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey's performance as well, just amazing. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I think I can give this a 10. A 10 out of 10. Like I love the cold open. That threw me off at first, but when you see where it goes and just the human drama that they're playing up with this, and
right.
Trying to expand on this
a
little, which I really do like.
Yeah.
And that they did a faithful adaptation of this section of the game,
right.
And like just the acting between all three of the main cast here.
Right.
It really sucks that Tess is dead because she did such a damn good job as Tess. Yeah. And then like the actress is Ellie, killing it. Pedro Pascal, good as always.
Yeah.
Like I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think, and one of the reasons they were talking about on the internet too is why they didn't want to wear gas masks is because obviously Pedro Pascal, most of you already know this unless you've been on another planet now. Of course, Pedro Pascal is the Mandalorian, and obviously in the show, in the Mandalorian, he's always wearing a helmet. And so they wanted to make it to where you could always see Pedro Pascal's face as Joel in this TV series. So they kind of gave up the situation with wearing masks because of obviously in the Mandalorian he wears a helmet. But anyway, all right. So yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for this review and discussion of The Last of Us Episode 2. So we hope you enjoyed our content. So if you liked it, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new episode here on the Arena Productions. And we thank you so much for viewing, and thank you so much for your support. So we hope to catch you next week for our Episode 3 review and discussion of The Last of Us. And obviously, Burley, I think next week we're going to get Bill.
Oh yeah,
I think they're going to Bill next week. So yeah, we're excited for that. So we hope to catch you in the next one. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host Burley. We hope to catch you next week. Take care, everyone. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Out.